everybody. It is March 26th, Thursday. And as promised, today we are going to go through the first pillar of awesomeness, which is assume good intentions. For going through this pillar, we're going to attack it in 4 buckets. The first is, why do we need to assume that people have good intentions? The second is, how do we do that? The third is, what actual tools can I use to implement this pillar? And the fourth is troubleshooting. What if I literally just can't assume that people or a specific person have good intentions? Very common, something to encounter. Let's take it from the top. Why? Why should we assume people have good intentions? Well, I have 3 reasons for you, and 1 and 2 go together. Health and efficiency. A good, healthy baseline from which to start a conversation is assuming that both people have good intentions. If that part of the conversation falls apart, you can talk about something, but never get to the actual issue because you're operating on the assumptions of the other person, the intentions, and you're not talking about that actual issue. So it's not efficient. The third is quality of life. It is really a quality of life issue, walking through and letting your primal lizard brain assume everyone has bad intentions, while may feel like a protective suit of armor, really just puts you at arm's length distance with experiencing life and experiencing other people. And honestly, when you assume people have good intentions, even if they don't, what does it hurt you, right? You're actually in a better mental state because you're assuming people have good intentions and their actual intentions never get to the point anyways. So those are my thoughts about that. Moving on to how. How do we control the lizard brain? Because it will not automatically assume people have good intentions very often. There might be a few people that are able to do this out of the box, but I think it's hard, and I can't, and I don't know of that many people that can, and you can't fight it, right? If your brain automatically thinks something that they have a bad intention, you just have to accept that, you know what, that's my primal lizard brain trying to keep me safe. But what you can do is develop a habit to catch when you're doing that, and then implement one of the tools just at that moment to kind of work around that lizard brain. The other thing that's extremely helpful to me for lizard brain is your friends, your peers, the people in the office, reminding you, hey, are you assuming good intentions here? Or am I assuming good intentions? Holding each other accountable in a non-personal way. It's not personal. If you start with the belief, which I do, that everybody's primal brain will believe bad intentions, then it's not personal. You're just saying, hey, you, just kick out of that mode, go to this different mode, and I'm here to help you do it, right? So this isn't seen as criticism. It's seen as very helpful to get you out of that lizard brain. So let's talk about some tools that we can use to implement assume good intentions pillar. One that I really like to use is, hey, walk me through what you were thinking, or walk me through why you made this decision. That's very helpful because you're not starting with a conclusion. Cameron, you made a terrible decision to XYZ, right? Versus, hey, walk me through why you made that decision, because then I can see how he's thinking about it. And there may be something fundamental there that we can coach each other on or have a discussion about, right? So kind of related to asking people where they're come from is a specific ask. And I try to implement this as well, because maybe something hits my radar that wouldn't hit someone else's radar. So I'll say, I use this one a lot, right? Cameron, will you, when I'm driving, give me directions, like 3 directions at a time versus one, like doling out one at a time, because that's my personal sensitivity, right? Instead of him giving me one at a time, and I'm assuming that, look, he just doesn't know what he's doing, right? It's my personal preference. And so if I can ask specifically for what I need and what I'm looking for, it really makes things much more efficient. And this is not just for this pillar, but really across any situation in life. Bonus. The next tool, the last tool I'm going to give you too, is also helpful in all areas. I really believe in it, but it's a 4-step process. If you have a belief that's stuck in your head, I go through this process, very helpful, because you ask yourself, is what I'm thinking really true? Right? Most of the time that fools me, because I'm like, yeah, it's true. It's 100% true. But then you go to the second question, which, do you know absolutely that that thing you're thinking is true? Now at that point, even I have to say, do I know that? Especially when you're speculating about someone's intent. I mean, if you do not acknowledge it's almost 100% impossible to know what someone's intent is, then this is not a good video for you. But basically, when you get to that step, at least there's a little bit a crack in the surface. So you can say, okay, maybe there's 1% chance that I'm not right. Then you move on to the next step, which is, how does believing this thought in my head, how is it making me act, right? You can see what it's doing to you. And finally, if I didn't have this thought or belief, what would I do? Or if it wasn't true? That's a really powerful one for me, because if I could pretend that, okay, if this, what I'm believing is actually not true, it changes how you behave 180 degrees. Right? I'm not going to obsess about it. I'm not going to get upset about it. I'm not going to treat this person that way. So it really changes the whole situation 180 degrees. Okay, I'm running out of time. Finally, troubleshooting. What do you do if you just think, I can't do this? I can't believe people have good intentions, or a person. You must authentically see the value in believing that people have good intentions, and you must genuinely believe that you can change and it's worth it to implement one of these tools. And reflect on why you can't do that, either in certain situations or with a certain person. If it's with a certain person, you can talk to them about it and try to recover that relationship. If it is everybody, and that is the pattern that you have in your life, you can reflect on, does that serve you anymore? Is that getting you ahead? Is that helping the quality of life that you have? And finally, the best troubleshooting method I have is fake it till you make it, because the other person, they don't know if you're faking it. But when you go and you show up places, your demeanor, your voice, your tone, your words change dramatically, whether you believe people have good intentions or not. So even if you can fake it, that is totally fine. Embrace that. It's a great tool. So I'm also going to try to share with you guys, just to round this one up, some pages from one of my favorite books of all time. It's called Napkin Notes, and it goes through this idea of compiling brown stamps, right? As you go through your life, you're picking up things that people do to you or things that you keep with you, and there's no good value to it, right? It just weighs you down. So by this pillar, which is simple yet very difficult to do, assuming people have good intentions, releases that burden from you, right? It releases all this stuff that you're carrying around. So I really think it's extremely powerful, and I'm excited that it's number one, excited to talk to you about it. I went way over time, so hopefully you guys just don't delete it. I will see you later. Bye.